Hello and welcome to World News here on TVP World. My name is Diana Skaya. European Union ministers of defense are gathering in the capital of Poland for an informal summit. Among the key topics of the discussion in Warsaw will be the rearmament of EU member states and boosting the European defense industry. The ministers' gathering at the Warsaw Citadel is set to focus on future support for Kyiv and the EU's role in securing a lasting peace in Ukraine. The officials will also discuss an initiative by Kaja Kallas, which is meant to strengthen the Ukrainian army. The proposal involves sending Kyiv 2 million rounds of large-caliber ammunition worth some 5 billion euros by the end of the year. Now, aside from EU defense ministers, Ukraine's defense chief, Rustem Umerov, and NATO Deputy Secretary General Radmila Shekerinska will also be in attendance. The meeting itself will be led by the EU High Representative for Foreign Affairs, Kaja Kallas, and Polish Minister of Defense, Władysław Kosiniak-Kamysz. On Wednesday, the European Parliament will discuss the European Commission's Steel and Metal Action Plan, recognizing its importance in safeguarding the EU's economic security and social stability. Now, the plan aims to transition the steel and metals industries in Europe towards a more competitive and decarbonized stance, addressing the challenges of high energy costs and unfair global competition. Now, at the morning session, members of the European Parliament will engage in a debate with the European Commission on the action plan's proposals to support these critical industries. In a separate debate, lawmakers will focus on the vital role of energy-intensive industries such as chemicals, steel, paper, cement, and glass in the EU economy. A draft resolution to be voted on Thursday calls for streamlined permit processes for clean energy prospects, measures to lower energy costs, and improved integration of the energy system to attract investment and support decarbonization efforts.
Recognizing the sector's difficulties, our presidency is intensifying work towards a strong industrial policy that will strengthen the competitive position of European companies and ensure economic security. In particular, we will invite in May EU ministers for competitiveness to discuss measures to address the situation of energy-intensive industries, including the steel and metal industries. A key focus will be reducing high energy prices by cutting dependence on costly imported fossil fuels and accelerating electrification through renewable and low-carbon energy sources.
There is no mention of NATO in the mineral agreement with the United States, said Volodymyr Zelenskyy on Tuesday evening. Now, during his brief statement, Zelenskyy added that a decision regarding the deal will be made in the coming days.
As for this agreement and NATO matters, NATO is not part of this agreement, nor has it ever been. Regarding EU matters and how we associate them with this agreement, it is clear that this agreement cannot contradict our efforts, aspirations, or firm intention for future membership in the European Union. Therefore, it is crucial that this agreement cannot be a separate document. Nothing should conflict with this. At this stage, I do not see any risks to discuss until the lawyers provide their resolution. This is the current format and stage of this document.
The EU has announced it is launching the Ukraine to EU program worth 16.7 million euros. The flagship initiative aims to support Kyiv in its EU membership bid.
The announcement of the project was made at the conference called Ukraine's EU membership, not if, but when, which took place on Tuesday. The 3-year program will provide strategic support to Ukrainian institutions and civil society involved in European integration efforts. Ukrainian Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal welcomed the launch of the initiative, saying that it demonstrates that the European Union is always by Ukraine's side on its path towards the common future.
Russia launched yet another drone attack on Ukraine overnight, targeting multiple regions of the country. 1 person was killed and dozens wounded.
In Kharkiv, the Russian strike caused fires that engulfed around 2,000 square meters of warehouse premises and production facilities. In addition, about 20 houses were damaged. 8 people sustained injuries. Zaporizhia was also the target of the overnight attack. 1 person was killed and 2 others wounded after a Russian drone hit cars in the region.
During an interview with Polish radio station RMF-FM, Polish Minister of Foreign Affairs Radosław Sikorski said Poland will be the largest beneficiary of Ukraine's post-war reconstruction. Sikorski also spoke about the viability of NATO's Article 5 and the war in Ukraine.
Sikorski went on to say that due to its proximity to Ukraine, Poland will become the logistics hub of the reconstruction. When asked about the timeline, he said he believes it only depends on Vladimir Putin. Sikorski added that Putin can end the war in 5 minutes by simply calling his chief of staff and sending relevant orders. The Polish foreign minister also noted that the conflict didn't start because of NATO's enlargement, but because of Russia's imperialistic ambitions. During the interview, Sikorski also expressed his belief that Article 5 of the alliance is still in force and allies will protect each other in case of any attacks.
The body of the 4th American soldier who went missing during military exercises in Lithuania has been found close to the border with Belarus. He and the 3 other victims died in a training accident when their vehicle sank in a swamp. The 4 soldiers went missing during an exercise and couldn't be located for days due to difficult terrain and weather. The armored carrier was eventually found in a bog, but conditions made rescue operations difficult. Soldiers and rescue workers had to cut a path through the wetlands and reinforce the reservoir banks in order to get the needed heavy equipment on site. Only on Monday were 3 of the 4 crew found. The 4th body was discovered on Tuesday evening. American, Lithuanian, and Polish soldiers took part in the recovery efforts. And moving on to France, emotions ran high in the French parliament during the debate about Marine Le Pen's conviction, the leader of the far-right national rally. The hopeful for the 2027 presidential elections has been barred from holding public office for 5 years after a court found her guilty of embezzlement of European funds.
Here is a bunch of prosecutors and judges claiming to be above the law in order to exercise the establishment's vendetta against its only opponent, the National Rally, and against its main figurehead, Marine Le Pen. Tyrannies lock up their opponents, and now tyrant judges are killing the rule of law in public. It is beyond dispute, and it should not be disputed in these chambers, that judicial decisions should be supported and that judges should be protected when exercising their duties. And I affirm, on behalf of the government, that this is the case. You've said it, there is no free pass whatsoever in any law, and the judges are exercising their duties when they issue verdicts.
Marine Le Pen has appealed the decision. It is unclear whether the appeal will be processed in time for the presidential campaign. The Georgian parliament has passed the final reading of a new foreign agents law, which broadens the definition of foreign agents to include individuals.
Approved by 86 MPs, the Georgian law now targets both organizations and individuals who receive foreign funding and fail to register with the Ministry of Justice. Non-compliance is punishable by up to 5 years in prison or a $10,000 fine. The updated version of the law adopted in May last year also includes a set of restrictive changes to the country's broadcasting law. Broadcasters are now banned from receiving direct or indirect funding from a foreign source. The Foreign Agents Law has drawn sharp criticism from both Georgian opposition parties as well as US and EU officials who believe it will be used as a tool to further suppress civil society and independent media.
Liberation Day for America. US President Donald Trump is expected to unveil a new set of reciprocal tariffs. The official announcement will come on Wednesday. However, it's unclear which countries the tariffs will be levied against, but Canada may be one of them.
My understanding is that the tariff announcement will come tomorrow. They will be effective immediately. And the president has been teasing this for quite some time, as you know. He's talked a lot about April 2nd as Liberation Day in America. It would be taking place today if not for April Fool's Day.
Although representatives of Trump's administration seemed in high spirits, the sentiment was not shared by Democratic senators who criticized Donald Trump's attack on U.S. closest trading partner and neighbor, Canada.
Canada is a friend, not an adversary. Canada is a sovereign nation, not a 51st state. And while we always have challenges with friends, we have a mechanism that Donald Trump negotiated, the USMCA, that enables us to work through trade deals, and we don't need tariffs at all. The president has justified the imposition of these tariffs on, in my view, a made-up emergency.
Policymakers also highlighted that the group most affected by Trump's trade war will be domestic consumers.
Don't take my words about how much these tariffs are going to cost. Take the ever colorful Peter Navarro, who Trump's one of his trade people, says it will raise $100 billion off the car tariffs this year, $600 billion off the reciprocal tariffs, $700 billion tariff fees. Who's going to pay those? American consumers. This will be the largest tax increase on American consumers in modern times.
It is not yet known what the scope of Trump's tariffs will be. However, he has previously suggested that they could be applied to all countries that have trade relations with the U.S.
And that completes this edition of World News here on TVP World. I'm Diana Skaya. Thanks for watching, and do stay with us for more news, features, and commentary.